The Washington State Criminal Justice Training Commission is responsible for setting the training and certification standards for law enforcement agencies across the state, making the work that they do essential for guaranteeing our communities stay safe. I'm joined this morning by the Commission's Executive Director, Monica Alexander, and she has a couple of exciting developments to share about the training of our police officers. It's good to have you back once again.
Thank you. It's always wonderful to be here.
Yes, thanks for coming in. So talk to us about this accreditation. What is it? Why is this important for Washington State in particular?
Well, it's important because it says that somebody's watching what we're doing and that we are doing things at the very highest standard we possibly can. And it's not just us saying that. It's IADLEST that comes out and looks at all of our policies, looks how we're training, and says, yeah, you guys have a very high standard. And we love that.
So this obviously puts Washington State on the map in terms of what's happening across the country. How does this benefit communities here at home?
Because they know we're being held accountable, not just by ourselves, not just by our 21 commissioners, but by an overseeing body that looks and makes sure we're doing things right. And every 3 years, we have to get it done again. So it's not one and done. It's one and keep doing.
I was going to say there's probably a lot of work that went into getting this accreditation. Talk about some of that work. What did you actually have to do?
So we had to send in proof. So they have a whole list of things we have to send to them. And they go, prove to us that you're doing this. Prove to us that you're doing that. And then they actually come out and do what they call a site visit. And they randomly, it's not like I escort them around.
Yeah.
They free flow through our academy. And they talk to our employees and they ask questions and they want to know, really, are we holding strong to the mission as we say we are?
What are the next steps then? What happens now?
So they will start in our Vancouver Academy now, because we have 5 academies that will have to be, each one will have to be accredited.
Okay. And part of that, I know that there's this other exciting thing that's happening later this week with another academy that's opening up in Arlington.
That is correct.
Right? So this will make number 5.
Yes.
Tell me about what this means for maybe some of those North Sound communities, or does that alleviate some of the population on some of the other academies? How does this work, and why Arlington, of all places?
Because, so we're all over, right? So we're
Yeah.
Arlington, Vancouver, Pasco, Spokane, and Burien. So what we're trying to do is serve the state better. So each community will be able to attend training in their own community with their own community members and police officers. And so that helps. What that helps is people that want to be in law enforcement don't have to go to Burien for 4.5 months to train. They can treat it like a job. And the beauty of that is that, guess what? We might be able to recruit more people when we tell them, you don't have to travel from Spokane to Burien to train, or from Arlington, because then they have to stay in a hotel or on our campus for 4 months.
Yeah.
They get to go home on, the weekends, but what is that really? Just go home and study.
Just and especially a long drive if you have to go to another part of the
That's
state,
right.
What's the capacity for that academy?
So we will do 2 classes there annually, so 60 students, and that's what we do in most of our academies around the state, except for ours, where we do 20 classes annually. So we do the lion's share of the work in Burien, because that's where the bulk of law enforcement is in the bigger metropolitan area.
And then you were telling me during the commercial break that starts on Monday, so get to work right away there.
That's right, on the 24th. So we do the ribbon cutting with Governor Ferguson on Thursday at 11 o'clock. We're super excited, all is invited. And then on Monday, we start the class, 7 a.m.
I imagine part of the goal with opening up some of these academies in some of these different areas of the state is when somebody's considering a line of work in law enforcement, for example, you hope that they might stay in their kind of home community. Is that part of the focus with this as well?
It is.
At least help with that?
And it's kind of their focus. A lot of people want to serve their community that they either grew up in or that they currently live in, but they have to go to Burien to train. Or they have to, and so this is a great time to join law enforcement. There's lots of openings in the area where you want to be. So sometimes it's not your choice. You go wherever the opening is. Right now, it's your choice. And Seattle, as we know, has lots of openings. I just met with the chief yesterday, the new chief, Chief Barnes, and he's super excited about recruitment and getting his ranks filled.
Awesome. I know a lot of agencies are focused on doing that as well. What would you say, sort of looking at the overall picture of police training here in Washington, needs to improve even more? We have talked about some of the changes that the commission has focused on in trying to raise the bar, but what do you think needs to take it a step further?
I think just community involvement. Being, really being involved with your community, knowing what each community wants, because every community is different. I mean, some communities have one problem. That doesn't mean every community has that problem. So it's not one size fits all. It's every community is unique, and every agency has to focus on their community. We teach the basics at the Basic Law Enforcement Academy. And then when you get to your agency, you find out the specifics. And that's part of the beauty of people staying in their community and being able to stay in there. They already know. They know what the challenges are because they live there. And when you live there, you're more committed to making it a better place for your children, for your family. And that's, I mean, I just think it's a win no matter how you slice it.
I was going to say, it probably makes a bigger difference when you know some of the neighbors that you're serving, is to have some of those personal connections with those folks. Know what some of the problems are, and you can respond to those in a better way because you know the community.
Right, and you see an officer and you happen to go to church with them, or you happen to see them in the grocery store and it's friendly. But here's the most important thing about us having these regional academies, other than keeping people at home. It is we have reduced our wait times so to zero. Really. A year ago, we were at an 8 to 10 month wait to get into the academy. That's after you get hired. And so it could be a year and a half before you're actually training. And so now there's no real wait time. You can get into an academy as you get hired. And so if you want to join law enforcement, now is the time to do it.
I know that has been some of the criticism, I guess, from some of the police agencies across the state, is the time that it's taken to get into the academy, but it's good that those numbers have been greatly reduced.
Greatly reduced.
Making a difference.
Yeah.
Monica, good to see you.
Thanks
Thanks
you.
so much
It's
for
always
coming
great
in.
to see you.
Yes, I was going to say, great to see you as well. I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.